Nobody's gonna do nothing. Nobody can do nothing up here to me.
Dishing out a little verbal abuse was never a problem for these athletes. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 best trash talkers in sports.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been.
For this list, we're looking at current and former athletes who reveled in their ability to badmouth their opponents.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best, or I'm gonna set it for you real quick. LOB.
Number 10, Ronda Rousey.
Need that, charming bitch.
Between 2011 and 2015, Ronda Rousey was the most dominant female mixed martial artist on the planet. She defended her title at the UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship 7 times, often defeating her opponents in less than a minute. During this time, Rousey wasn't afraid to voice her opinions on other fighters, and would often berate them with strings of verbal taunts during pre-fight press conferences. Alas, her unexpected loss to Holly Holm in 2015 seems to have humbled her some, proving that the quickest way to shut someone up is to beat them at their own game.
I was like in the medical room, and I was like down in the corner. I was sitting in the corner, and I was like, what am I anymore if I'm not this?
Number 9, Shannon Sharpe. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, Shannon Sharpe dominated the NFL. The 6'2" tight end was the perfect combination of size, speed, and skill, making it a nightmare for other players to try and defend him. He won 3 Super Bowls during his career and set numerous positional records. Why are we telling you this? Because Sharpe's dominance is what allowed him to be one of the most ruthless trash talkers to ever step on an NFL field.
I'm calling the president. President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots.
It didn't matter if he was giving it to opposing players, fans, or even his own teammates. Sharpe could chew you up and spit you out with ease. Number 8, John McEnroe.
My daughters are over there. I think it's mixed. They think I'd probably lose this arena. I believe that I could still take her.
You do?
Honestly.
Since its inception, the sport of tennis has been synonymous with the upper class, a gentleman's game meant to be treated with respect. However, in the late 70s, one man came along who trash-talked his opponents, berated umpires, and generally got under the skin of all who opposed him. And that man was John McEnroe. The kicker was that he could back it up on the court, spending 170 weeks as the top-ranked tennis player in the world between 1980 and 1985. For an example of McEnroe's trash-talking abilities, look no further than the time he said of his rival Ivan Lendl, quote, "I've got more talent in my pinky than Lendl has in his whole body."
You topped yourself, sir. You told NPR that if Serena Williams were on the men's circuit, she'd be like number 700 in the world, okay?
Number 7, Richard Sherman. What is it about Richard Sherman that makes opponents lose their minds? The Seattle Seahawks cornerback has gone toe-to-toe with some of the NFL's best wide receivers, and more often than not, they end up losing their cool. While Sherman is arguably one of the best at his position, there is a case to be made that his trash-talking game is so strong that it's part of the reason he continues to dominate on the field. Who could forget his battle with Michael Crabtree in the 2013 NFC Championship game? Attempting to shake a man's hand after embarrassing him with your skill is a bold move. Number 6, Floyd Mayweather Jr.
I think I've earned the right, to call myself TBE.
Sporting an all-time record of 49-0, Mayweather is considered one of the greatest boxers to ever strap on the gloves. However, his skill inside the ring is often overshadowed by his constant need to destroy opponents with strings of profanity-laden smack talk. His list of victims stretches from opponents all the way up to renowned boxing analyst Larry Merchant, whom he infamously said should be fired after a 2011 championship fight. To fight Mayweather is to be his punching bag in the ring and his trash talk depository outside of it, as especially evidenced during the promotional tour for the highly anticipated boxing match between him and Conor McGregor in Las Vegas. Number 5, Conor McGregor. The UFC has produced a number of impressive trash talkers over the years. All one needs to do is listen to Chael Sonnen destroy Anderson Silva over and over again to know that MMA is a sport where you need to be tough before, during, and after a fight. However, Conor McGregor is in a league of his own.
If I was to compare myself and yourself, all I would have to do is go to the numbers, because at the end of the day, the numbers do not lie.
The Irish fighter goes well beyond the call of duty when discussing his opponents, verbally emasculating them before the fight has even begun.
Your whole suit, my socks were worth more than your whole suit you had on, you little bum. You broke.
This gives him the psychological edge long before he steps into the octagon. His trash-talking game is so strong, one can't help but look on in admiration. With the lead-up to his first professional boxing match against the undefeated Mayweather at the T-Mobile Arena a particularly interesting watch.
His little legs, his little core, his little head. I'm gonna knock him out inside 4 rounds, mark my words.
Number 4. Chad Johnson. The man formerly known as Ocho Cinco was one of the most talented trash talkers to ever play the game of football.
Anybody that writes about whatever I say today, you call me Ocho Cinco. Do not say Chad.
The Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver famously kept a list of the cornerbacks he faced in his locker, crossing out their names in post-game interviews when they failed to cover him. Johnson would climb inside the minds of his opponents and rattle their cages with stunning consistency. However, the best part about Johnson was that he could put his money where his mouth was, retiring as a 6-time Pro Bowler with over 11,000 receiving yards. Number 3. Michael Jordan. For 2 decades, the NBA watched in awe as Michael Jordan ran roughshod over anyone and everyone who got in his way. And, much like the others on this list, he utilized trash talk with great efficiency. MJ would constantly call his moves during games, infuriating defenders as he swooped by them on the way to the hoop. Jordan didn't care who you were. If you got in his way, you were going to be subjected to a wave of no-holds-barred verbal abuse. And that included teammates, as one story has Jordan denying a teammate the right to wear his Air Jordan shoes by quipping, quote, "My sneakers are for all-stars." Ouch. Number 2. Mike Tyson. Whereas many of the others on this list like to poke fun at their opponents as a way of throwing them off their game, Mike Tyson took trash talking to a much scarier level. His rants are the stuff of legend, with the ferocious heavyweight boxer once infamously threatening to eat Lennox Lewis's children during a post-fight interview. And that's just scratching the surface.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Iron Mike couldn't cross the line because he didn't even know the line existed. He terrified people with his pre- and post-fight tirades, often using profanity to hammer his points home. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Right. But we didn't have to ask T.O. No. He just wanted y'all to see how good he looked.
Hey, I don't know if it's the light, but I look good. I look good. And I tell you what, the NBA is giving y'all out and giving out money too, because boy, y'all looking, woo.
And then you have the all-important guys like Sean Avery, the king of all agitators.
Center ice and Avery fired the first 2, and Tucker comes back.
I knew I was in trouble, because I was like, this ref, you know, the ref was intimidated by his talk, but a lot of guys, like you said, it's not malicious, it's just what you're doing.
I just hated when a guy thought he could guard me, to be honest with you. I'm like, dude, please, just work hard, but you can't stop me.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Muhammad Ali.
He's too ugly to be the world champ. The world champ should be pretty like me.
In the pantheon of sports trash talkers, one man reigns supreme. The moment the cameras began to roll, Muhammad Ali would explode into a devastating and eloquently assembled rant aimed to humiliate and mentally disable his opponents.
You know what I did last week? Last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick.
The man who came to be known as simply the greatest earned that name by being an unstoppable force in the ring and a downright vicious smack talker outside of it.
Well, let me finish. Let me talk. This boy's modest. I'm the greatest. He's not a talker. I'm going to fight Sonny Liston right after I annihilate Henry Cooper.
He would regularly insult, taunt, and berate his rivals with never-before-seen precision. The problem for his opponents was simple. Ali was the best, and he knew it.
Up like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.